we've had word from the Vatican just in recent hours about the cause of his death. What has the Vatican said about how Pope Francis died?
Yeah, that's correct, Bridget. Look, we've heard from the Director of Health and Hygiene Department at the Vatican City State. They have confirmed that the Pope died of a stroke and subsequent heart failure. He was affected, the note said, by his previous respiratory condition, double pneumonia. As you know, the Pope was hospitalised for around a month from mid-February with that condition. It was touch and go there for quite some time, but he was released by his medical team to be able to recover from home, and just a few weeks later he's now since passed. So the doctors there confirming that he died from a stroke and subsequent heart failure.
It began as just another day in the heart of the Catholic world. The sun rose gently over Vatican City, casting golden light on the ancient streets below. Pilgrims moved slowly along the cobbled paths. Priests offered quiet blessings as incense filled the air around St. Peter's Basilica. But beneath the serenity, something unsettling stirred, a tension so quiet that it almost went unnoticed, until the announcement came. Pope Francis was dead. Within moments, the world erupted in shock and sorrow. News channels across the globe cut to live feeds of mourners gathering, the flags at half-mast, and a sea of candles flickering in the darkness. It wasn't just the passing of a spiritual leader. It felt like the world had been cracked open. And for those familiar with one chilling prophecy, the timing was more than symbolic. It was apocalyptic. This wasn't just about the end of a papacy. This felt like the beginning of something far greater and far more ominous. You may have heard whispers of it. A centuries-old vision, hidden in time, now roaring back to life. It centers around a man named Saint Malachy. Back in the 12th century, this Irish bishop was said to have experienced a divine vision during his travels to Rome. What he saw left him trembling. He claimed to have foreseen every pope that would ever reign over the Roman Catholic Church, 112 in total, each with a cryptic Latin motto describing their character or reign. When scholars mapped these descriptions to real-life pontiffs, the alignment was eerie, but it was the final entry that set the world on edge. The 112th Pope, Peter the Roman, would lead the Church during its ultimate persecution, culminating in the destruction of Rome and the Last Judgment. According to those who follow Malachy's vision, Pope Francis was number 112. So now what? If we've reached the final name on the list, does that mean we've stepped beyond prophecy into the unknown? Inside the Vatican, the mood has shifted from mourning to uncertainty. Just outside the walls of St. Paul. Outside the walls, a grand basilica lined with mosaic portraits of every pope in history, there is something unsettling. One empty space. Just one blank, untouched space. It's not merely a coincidence to some. It's a countdown, a signal, a question waiting to be answered. As the Church prepares to choose its next leader, speculation spreads like wildfire. Whispers have begun to circle around two particular names, Cardinal Peter Turkson of Ghana and Cardinal Peter Erdo of Hungary. Yes, both Peters, both potential successors, both fitting the final title from Malachy's prophecy. Of course, names alone don't make a prophecy come true, but what if this is more than just names? What if this is part of a divine script that's now playing out in real time? Some believe Cardinal Erdo's temporary leadership role could be the beginning of something permanent. If he ascends to the papal seat, the implications could be massive. It begs the question, are we standing at the edge of a spiritual cataclysm? And if we are, How will we recognize it? The book of Revelation speaks of global upheaval, of strange signs in the heavens and earth. In recent years, we've seen rivers turning red, snow falling in deserts, blood moons, and the Euphrates River, the same one mentioned in prophecy, drying up. In Jerusalem, preparations have intensified for the rebuilding of the Third Temple. For the first time in over 2,000 years, 5 unblemished red heifers have been brought to the Holy Land, animals necessary for purification rituals that many believe signal the beginning of the end times. Are these mere coincidences, or are they puzzle pieces locking into place? These aren't theories born from panic. They're rooted in scripture, history, and an increasing number of signs that seem to be converging with uncanny precision. The convergence is what makes people pause, reflect, and reconsider. Back in the Vatican, all eyes now turn to the Sistine Chapel. Here, behind doors closed to the world, cardinals from across the globe will soon gather to elect the next pope. Smoke will rise from the chimney above, white for yes, black for no. A simple tradition with centuries of meaning. But this time, the weight of that decision may be unprecedented. Because if the man chosen is Peter the Roman, then, for many, the prophecy won't just be speculation anymore. It will be reality. Saint Malachy didn't just describe a name. He described a season of suffering, a time of fire, a church under siege, a world unraveling, and the rise of a mysterious figure, one who would not bring hope, but chaos, the Antichrist. Some have long wondered if Pope Francis could have fulfilled that role. But now, eyes have shifted. If Malachy's timeline is accurate, then the next pope won't be the Antichrist himself, but his forerunner, the final shepherd before the fall. This man will not come as a villain. He will come as a beacon, charismatic, appealing, disarmingly wise. He will speak of unity and peace, but his words will bend truth. And in his shadow, something darker will grow. And here we are, a planet in turmoil, nations divided, economies trembling, faith being challenged from all sides. It feels like the stage is set, and in the middle of it all is Rome, once again, the center of history. It is a city that has stood through the rise and fall of empires. But if Saint Malachy's vision holds weight, then it may soon face a collapse unlike any other, not through war or rebellion, but through a spiritual reckoning that shakes the earth. The world watches and waits for a name, for a sign, for a man who may carry within him the hope of billions or the seeds of the final storm. It's easy to dismiss prophecy. People have done it for centuries. But when ancient texts begin to mirror current events, even the most skeptical minds begin to wonder, what if we've misunderstood the warnings? What if the prophecy was never meant to scare us, but to prepare us? If the next pope truly is Peter the Roman, then we must ask, what is our role in this unfolding chapter of history? Are we bystanders or participants in a spiritual battle far older than we can imagine? This moment isn't just about religion. It's about destiny, legacy, and truth. It challenges us to awaken from spiritual slumber, to see the signs not with fear, but with clarity, to prepare not for doom, but for discernment. Because the greatest danger is not the prophecy itself, it's ignoring it. So what comes next? Perhaps a new pope will be chosen, and life will go on. Perhaps the world will move past this moment, only to realize its significance years later. Or perhaps the storm has already begun. We may never fully understand the depths of what Saint Malachy saw, but what we can do is stay watchful, stay rooted in Scripture, stay anchored in truth, Because the winds are shifting, the world is changing, and the Church, ancient, holy, powerful, now stands on the brink of a decision that may change everything. The question remains, will the next Pope be Peter the Roman, or will he be something entirely unexpected? Only time will tell, but we must be ready for whatever comes. Let's talk about it. Do you think this prophecy is unfolding before us? Or are we simply trying to find patterns in the storm? Leave your thoughts below. I read every comment. And if you believe this message matters, if you feel the weight of this moment, share it. Because even the smallest voice can echo across time. And if you're new here and want to explore the mysteries, the faith, and the truth that lies beneath the surface of our world, subscribe. There's so much more ahead. Stay sharp, stay faithful, and never forget, light doesn't fear the darkness, it defeats it.